Okay, so last time you were here, I was not in this space, as in that's now my studio. So welcome back to part 2 at Cardinal Song, and today we're going to go through more in-depth, talk about the gear, specifically the microphones, the guitars, and the rack gear. Michael?
You're now drinking the pretentious tea.
So I did that on purpose.
I know you did. That's why it's funny.
Great. All right, let's give the people what they want, man.
What do they want?
To talk about microphones, to talk about gear in the studio, and I'm throwing in guitars. Take it away, my man. What do we got here?
Well, this is the mic locker. It's where the mics live. There are a couple that are up and out. They're on the drum kit and things. We just did a drum session for you, actually. So, so a couple of the things that you can see on the labeling in here, I'm sure that's B-roll. But everything's labeled of kind of where everything goes, so you can kind of get a sense of what is or isn't in here. But it's a wonderful little cabinet full of wonderful little things.
Let's go back to the start of everything here for you. Like,
sure.
When did you start? When did you buy your first microphone?
Ooh, my very first microphone was my senior year of high school. Right at the end when I decided that I was going to do this for real, and so I bought a very early version of Pro Tools. That was the 001 days, and so I got
before the inbox.
Well before the inbox,
okay.
Yeah. So the Digi 001, and then I got a couple just garbage microphones, and I started trying to record at the house.
What were you recording into?
A computer.
Pro Tools.
Yeah, it was Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had like visions of a documentary, like Documentary Now, following you, like slow zooming in on all the photos of you from way back when in your studio. Okay, so this is actually great. You just built a microphone that looks awesome.
Looks awesome.
That one up there?
Yeah, and I need to do some work on it. I pulled it out for a session the other day and had a little ground hum in it, so I still have to figure out what's going on there. But it's awesome. Mic Parts, they're an awesome little DIY company, and this is a 251 clone.
So this is a Mic Parts 251 clone.
V251, I believe, is what they call the exact part number.
There'll be links. I'll link everything.
There you go. Link it up.
Yeah.
I think they're a really cool company anyways, but they, if you're trying to get a 251 these days, they're incredibly expensive, and for $800 you can more or less build one yourself.
So for context, that is a clone of something.
Yeah.
There's a company called Mic Parts, and they sell you a kit.
A kit,
and then you build that kit.
Yeah.
Most people watching will know that. There may be some that don't. That's a cool mic. Is that the stereo one? Is that?
No, it's mono. And then I built 2 other mic part kits here, and they're both fantastic. This thing's wonderful and beautiful, and it's got a really, really pretty top end. This is also very, very good too. I lean on this one actually quite a lot. It's really good. And I think these are both sub $400. So if you got a soldering iron, then off you go.
So sometimes it can be as simple as having a skill, like being able to solder.
Yeah.
You can save yourself a lot of money. Yeah, there's more on that later. Yeah. I think that the Earthworks are really cool.
Yeah, the Earthworks, the OM1s were one of their early microphones, and they're great. They look just like the other ones, but different preamp circuit, and they sound awesome.
What do you like to use those on?
Anything that I just need like a really, really clean Omni sound. Excuse me. So they're cool for rooms, room mic vibes. They're really cool if you like tape them to the floor and get like some low reflection sort of stuff. That's really cool. Just make sure you put cones or something or gaff tape so people don't step on them. Pro tip.
I've been hearing of a lot of people, and even Spitfire recently, I say recent, within the last year, one of their libraries, they started doing more with like contact mics. And they also, you have some?
Yeah, I got these C-Ducers.
No, they're Seducers.
I guess so.
Seducers of your ears.
These are really cool because they're flexible, so you can mount them on surfaces that are not flat.
And there's 2 of them?
So this is a stereo set.
That's awesome.
These are great, and another great like creative tool. And I think I paid less than $500 for the set, of these. It was a long time ago, but I think they're still very, very reasonably priced. So,
why did you decide these over some like other options?
a buddy of mine was a big fan of these and uses them quite a bit when he's doing like snare drum. He'll tape this to the exterior of the snare drum and use that as kind of like an additional sound.
That's like the actual like wood or the brass.
Yeah, like onto the shell itself.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's gonna have a unique sound, I would think.
Very much so, yeah. Yeah, they're really cool.
That's really cool because like if you think about, you know, the way sound is movement, right? It's like air being moved, and your drum, if you have a shell, if it's wooden, that's kind of absorbing energy in a way and also outputting it. So that I would think that's a really
it's really cool. It kind of it fits very squarely between kind of the sound of the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds really ambiguous, but tonally it fits somewhere between the two.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We don't have them in our hands, but we'll get some views of them. But the Coles are a lot.
Yeah.
Those are very coveted.
They're very awesome. I'm going to grab one.
Damn it, now I have to add it. And we're back.
And we're back. Here we go. The Coles 4038.
This is one of the coolest mics still, in my opinion,
I love
in
it.
existence.
Yeah.
Not just because also form factor. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and all the maneuverability of it and the fact that it weighs a ton. It's got a giant magnet in it, so don't put anything.
So over the last few years, I've been seeing these more and more and more as overheads.
Yeah.
Why?
They're darker. They're ribbons, so by nature they're darker than like a condenser, obviously. And the rejection pattern is nice because they're not going to get things off to the side of them, but on either side, top or bottom, they're going to pick up. So they're just wonderful. This is arguably my favorite ribbon microphone ever. So
You're not alone in that.
yeah, I'm definitely not alone in that.
A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, a lot of people love these, and for good reason. They've been around for a long time, and it's tried and true and very awesome. Yeah.
Here's a great opportunity. Here's a little PSA. What should you never send a ribbon mic?
Phantom power.
Bingo.
There you go. What do I win?
You win the hearts and minds of many people viewing.
and not having to pay for a mic to be re-ribboned.
Yeah. So
That's
we
for
never send 48 volt. Now there are active ribbon mics
There are.
now.
Yeah.
But you should know the difference. Active means, hey, I can take power.
Yep.
Right?
Requires power to work. Yeah.
Or has power to work.
Passive.
But a ribbon like this, what would happen if you did that?
You'd literally blow it up.
And then it'd
So
be
the
bye-bye.
ribbon itself would pop.
Yeah.
So and the ribbon is very, very, very thin. It's a couple microns thin piece of stretched aluminum usually, corrugated and stretched. So the power feeds to that and it just explodes.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that microphone in its current state. Then you just send it off to somebody and they'll re-ribbon it. So,
Yeah. So I'll hold on to this
yeah.
while you show off your Sonys.
The C37s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dang, that is-
C37P, I'm telling you, they're heavy.
It's built like a tank.
Yeah. BBC built them back in the day. So the C37P, which is the FET version of the even more famous, just the C37A, these are brilliant. I absolutely love them.
Why do you love them? What about them is it that you love?
They just, it's kind of like a AKG 414 where it's a utilitarian microphone. You can put it on just about anything and it just sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful microphone. So I got a stereo pair of these. So
You've got a stereo pair of those. Don't you have another older
the
type?
C38, which I'm not that jazzed about.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not jazzed about it, but
Sure.
it's definitely, if I had to go for a C38 versus the C37, there's no contest. So yeah,
That's pretty rad.
yeah, it's awesome.
And then sorry if I cut you off.
You're not.
You love a 47.
I do love a 47. I wish I had an actual one. I have many clones.
How many clones of the 47 do you have?
I have the Warm Audio, the WA47. I have the Lawson L47.
A lot of people love that.
And I have the Lawson L47 FET as well, which is like a FET 47. This is the FET 47's on the kick drum right now, but this is the larger version of it, which actually has the tube. And then the old school blue Dragonflies have the same style capsule. It's not a
Same style.
47.
Sorry, same style capsule as?
As a 47.
47, got it.
So it has the same style capsule, but it's not. It doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
That's what we were recording
piano with today. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those. We'll grab them.
Yeah.
Are there any? So you've got another utility. Well, not utilitarian, but another staple is you have like an original SM7, right?
I do have an original SM7.
So for people wondering, real quick, actually, like briefly touch on the difference between having two different types of the same mic, having a FET and just having like the normal version. What's the difference?
Like a tube version versus a FET style.
Yeah. What's the difference for
one is not amplified by the tube, so you use a FET to actually do the amplification.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they sound really different, and it's just there's a technological leap there when we were able to amplify things via solid state. It's much smaller, much lighter, much cheaper, all those things. So that's when those kind of came into play, and so a lot of microphones went from being tube to being FET, and so.
Can you typically tell by the form factor?
They're usually smaller.
The tube's usually bigger, and then the solid state's usually slightly smaller.
So, tube version, FET version, so just much, much, much smaller.
Same mic.
Same capsule, same, so from the Lawson side, the L47, it's, they're voiced similarly, but because this has got a tube in it, it just sounds a little different than the non-tube version.
There you go. A little mic history for those who don't know. I remember not knowing this stuff at one point in time and just been like, you could have just like given somebody that they wouldn't have found within maybe 10 years. So
maybe.
I know that seems crazy. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It's possible. Let's see, what else is cool in here?
So we touched on the SM7, the original.
We did.
What's the difference between the 7 and the B?
I don't know the technical. There are different bits in there. I think it's a different diaphragm.
I feel like it's like if I compare it against my B, it sounds different.
It does. It sounds way different.
And I actually think that the 7 is maybe like the perfect mic for that thing, for like the radio, for an aggressive vocal. Mm-hmm. I like it on hi-hat, geek mic.
Yep.
As geek mic, crotch mic, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. It's one of the best all-around microphones ever made. So SM7 or the B, you can't get the 7 anymore unless you're digging on vintagey stuff.
Like reverb.com.
Or whomever you buy your stuff from, Reverb's a great option. So, but yeah, this is one of the microphones I recommend to everyone as a starter mic because you kind of can't beat it.
It's great because if you're like a bedroom studio, it's perfect. Because you're kind of eliminating the biggest problem that you have,
reflections,
which is probably going to be your acoustics.
Yeah.
So
it's wonderful, and it's $350. So for a starter mic, that 257s, you're pretty much there.
It's killer.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your favorite mic, a U87.
Oh God, please. I hate a U87. That's I don't like it.
I think it's hilarious that so many people covet a microphone that you don't like at all.
I loathe it, yeah. I mean, I own a clone of it from some Australian company that I can't even remember the name of, and then the logo doesn't help me, but it's fine.
It's fine.
It's totally fine. It does the 87 thing without it being an 87. My beef with that microphone is pretty deep, but it's mostly, especially the AI. Let me just be really clear.
Let's hear it.
It's not the old U87s, which were just a spin-off of the 67 going into that FET thing, right? So now we're going from a tubed 67 to an 87. They made it FET, right? So they made it solid state. And then from there, they tweaked it. They tweaked the circuitry, and I can handle the old vintage ones because they are more akin to, I guess, a 67 to some. I mean, it's not gonna sound like a 67, but then you get to the AI, the ones that were kind of made late 80s and are currently still in production, and I hate them. I hate them. They've got this huge bump kind of in like the presence area, and it just, I feel like I have to take out, like I'm notch filtering 1K or 1.2 like really, really hard.
Why do you think they've become so ubiquitously like
Because they look cool on
legendary.
camera.
Yeah, I've always thought that
Yeah.
too. But I can think of a bunch of other mics that would look cool on a camera.
Sure, me too. And they're very expensive, so I get really mad at something. And I could be argued on this point all day long. I mean, I'm probably gonna again catch heat on this one, but it's like I just don't like it. You know, for my money, I'd much rather have a 414. I'd much rather have those C37Ps. I'd much rather have almost everything in my arsenal of 57s before I have a U87. So they're really expensive. They're $2,500, and that to me is unreasonable for what it does.
Yeah, it's a little insane.
Yeah, when you could get two nice vintage 414s, like the BULS series, for less than what you would pay for that one microphone.
Well, I don't have a strong opinion about a U87.
That's
so.
okay. Most people don't.
Because I'll never own one. I have it's unlikely that I would own a U87. It was just like does not suit me for any reason whatsoever.
Sure.
And I don't want to spend that much money on a microphone.
Right.
And if I did, it would be a different microphone.
Yeah.
So, I'm a big fan of like lower cost. Like I really like all the Cascade stuff.
Sure.
I think their stuff is rad, especially if you get a pair of fat heads with those Lundahl's.
Mm-hmm. They're wonderful ribbon
sound
microphones.
incredible, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah. Different vibe than a condenser, though. But
definitely.
Yeah, they're ribbons as well, but they're wonderful.
They're so good.
I have a D12. I have the D12 VR. I have a D112. I've got a Beta 52. So those are all the kick drumming things.
Yeah. So all the kick drum mics live up here. It would seem. So here's the
D12E. Yeah, the original D12.
D12E.
That's a D112, which doesn't get much use these days. But I also have a D12 VR.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Somebody sold you on that VR. Was it Chad?
Chad Copeland from Blackwatch,
Yes.
who's an amazing engineer producer, and he had one, and I didn't get to use it on that session, but I asked him about it, and he said, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." So I ended up getting one, and I've liked it. The fact that you can either send it phantom power or not, so it can go between two different circuits.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So you can go from fully
idea.
passive to having the active EQ built in.
It's a really good idea.
It's cool. Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of cool stuff.
The other cool one that isn't in here is the Birdcage.
You were saying?
Yes, the Altec Birdcage or the 639A. This thing's awesome.
And you can get these at any Guitar Center all around the...
That's right, from 1950. The Guitar Centers from 1950 definitely
Yeah.
sold this microphone. So Altec made it, Western Electric made it. I think the BBC had a version of it as well. That's why it has the same connector as the Coles. So depending on, or STC, I think it was called back
Wait,
then.
what kind of connector is it?
That guy.
Wow, that is hefty.
Yeah, and so.
What do you love about this microphone?
Well, it's two different microphones in one. So it's got a ribbon and it has a dynamic element. And you can blend between the two of them. Or blend. You can be in C for combination, D for dynamic, or R for ribbon. I keep it in combo, and it's awesome.
For
anything. It's kind of, I do it for like a mono overhead. Right, I'm doing a lot of that right now. It's real cool on guitars. This is one of my go-to guitar mics because it's got both elements.
Yeah.
So that usually supplemented with another microphone, depending on the source. Depends on what the other microphone is. But yeah, this thing's awesome, and it is definitely heavy duty.
How'd you come across this fella?
I've just been aware of them forever.
Well, how'd you find this one in particular?
A friend was selling one, and I traded him a couple mic amps for it. It worked out great.
If you actually look through, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way they used to make these.
Yeah, and it's still around. It's kicking. It's
Makes
great.
me wonder. I talking about mics gets me thinking about that mic that I got from my uncle that I don't know how to get working.
Right.
So, of course, you have many mics,
I
and
do.
we could probably go through a lot of them, but this probably satiates a lot of the people out there.
The gear nerds.
Well, just like looking for like cool stuff. Like we all know the SM57s that fit, SM58s, Beta 52s. You've even got some 81s, right? From Shure.
No.
No, you don't.
No.
That's not an 81.
That's another Altec.
Yeah, these are cool too.
C649. Yeah.
C649. Yeah, these are rad.
Yeah, those are cool.
I'm glad I got these out. See, I'm here all the time and I haven't even seen these.
And the other small diaphragms are the 451s, the AKGs.
Gotcha.
Those are great.
Just when I thought it was over,
Just when you thought.
there's one more
There's
thing.
always more.
Okay, like seriously though, you do have some
Fancy DIs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is this the Ready DI?
That's the Ready DI, yeah.
Is
the
it
A
Red
designs.
DI or Ready DI?
I don't know.
I just call it the Ready.
I usually say red DI,
I
but
usually say you ready to get ready.
yeah,
And people know what that means.
bass players love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an A Designs box. It's awesome. And then I've got a couple stereo. These are from BAE, which are awesome, the passive DIs. And then
You got your radial stuff for like long run guitar stuff.
yeah, and just the radial.
SGIs.
Those are the SG, the yellow ones are. And
Yeah.
then you got your Pro DIs here. The Tab-Funkenwerk V71. That DI is ridiculous.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's another tube DI. It's awesome. It's awesome, awesome, awesome.
Can I get it out?
Yeah.
Wow, this thing is the real deal.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Okay, so
So,
wow,
Tab.
this has got to be 12 to 15 pounds.
probably. Yeah, so Tab-Funkenwerk was this little company out. I guess they're still around, but up in Kansas of all places. But Oliver, I should say designed by, yeah, I can never say his last name right.
Arcute?
Yeah.
Arcute?
He
Arcade?
very sadly died many years back from, I think it was a brain tumor, but he was the guy who was going through and making all these wonderful recreations of the crazy old German stuff.
Dude, this is insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's designed around the V72, but as a DI. So it's really, really cool.
I can't wait to try this.
Yeah, it kills.
I feel like this would just like make a bass sound like a.
It's really cool. It's really different from the A designs. So it really depends on what you're looking for, but they're both fantastic.
So why is this so heavy? For the
Transformers.
Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers
And
too.
Transformers make things sound good.
They do. There's the stock stuff, the RE20.
RE20, yeah.
The 635A. This is one of my favorite microphones for, no money, basically. This thing's awesome.
You can find those on eBay all day.
Yeah, and they
Reverb.
reissued them, so they're around.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, everything in here is great. I love all of it.
Legit. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.